In this podcast episode, Mike Israetel, a well-known figure in health, fitness, and nutrition, joins the hosts to dissect the complex reasons behind the modern obesity epidemic and the challenges of maintaining health in today's world. The conversation spans a wide range of topics, from the economics of food accessibility to the cultural narratives around body image, the role of pharmaceuticals, and the controversies surrounding vaccines and misinformation. Israetel opens by highlighting a striking historical fact. For the first time, more people are dying from overeating than from starvation. This shift underscores the paradox of modern society, where food is cheaper, more convenient, and tastier than ever before. He explains that the core driver behind the obesity epidemic is the drastic reduction in the time cost of calories, meaning people now need to work far fewer hours to afford large quantities of highly palatable food. This economic shift, combined with the explosion of ultra-processed, flavorful, and convenient foods, has created an environment where overeating is easy and common. Israetel points out that physical activity levels have not declined enough to explain the massive weight gain seen in populations. In fact, average Americans move almost as much as traditional subsistence populations, such as African goat herders. The primary culprit, therefore, is the ubiquitous availability of cheap, calorie-dense food that tastes great and encourages overconsumption. He uses examples like rotisserie chickens at warehouse stores and food delivery apps such as Uber Eats to illustrate how effortless it is to access large amounts of delicious food, a scenario unprecedented in human history. The discussion challenges common beliefs about the role of specific food components in obesity. Israetel argues that the demonization of certain ingredients, such as seed oils or sugar, is often exaggerated. He cites scientific evidence showing that seed oils generally perform better than saturated fats in health metrics, and that sugar, while tasty and calorie-dense, is not uniquely fattening compared to other macronutrients when calories are controlled. He emphasizes that the fundamental driver of weight gain is calorie surplus, regardless of whether those calories come from sugar, fat, or protein. For example, even healthy vegan brownies with thousands of calories can cause weight gain if consumed in excess. Conversely, minimally processed foods like vegetables and lean proteins tend to be more satiating, naturally limiting calorie intake and aiding weight control. Israetel also addresses the confusion around artificial sweeteners, clarifying that modern non-nutritive sweeteners are generally safe, well-tolerated, and do not negatively impact health or weight. He advocates for diet sodas over sugary drinks as a practical way to reduce calorie intake and support weight loss. The conversation turns to the serious health consequences of obesity, countering narratives from the body positivity movement that suggest big is beautiful, or that obesity is harmless. Israetel acknowledges the importance of treating all individuals with respect and condemns fat shaming and bullying. However, he stresses that obesity is causally linked to numerous health problems, including diabetes, cardiovascular disease, systemic inflammation, joint degeneration, and reduced longevity. He shares personal anecdotes about family members suffering from obesity-related disabilities, such as joint damage leading to physical impairment. Israetel explains that fat tissue is hormonally active and contributes to chronic inflammation, which exacerbates many diseases. He also highlights how obesity impairs quality of life and physical function, often without individuals realizing the extent of the damage until it becomes severe. Israetel offers a nuanced critique of the body positivity movement. While he supports kindness and acceptance for people of all sizes and opposes discrimination, he challenges the claim that morbid obesity is equally attractive or healthy as more conventional body types. He argues that evolutionary biology and human perception shape preferences for certain body compositions, and most obese individuals themselves do not find their bodies ideal. He suggests that the movement's well-meaning messages sometimes create confusion and false hope, as many overweight people want to lose weight but are told to accept their size unconditionally. Israetel advocates for honesty about the health risks of obesity while maintaining compassion and support for those struggling with weight. The podcast delves into the roles of large corporations and government in the obesity and health landscape. Israetel dismisses conspiracy theories that food companies intentionally make people obese for profit, explaining that corporations primarily respond to consumer demand for tasty, affordable food. He notes that healthy options often fail commercially because they are less appealing or more expensive, and companies prioritize quarterly earnings over long-term societal health. Regarding Big Pharma, Israetel expresses a pro-industry stance, emphasizing the critical role pharmaceutical companies play in developing life-saving medications and innovative treatments. He acknowledges legitimate concerns about regulatory capture and government influence, but argues that deregulation and increased competition could accelerate drug innovation and accessibility. The conversation briefly touches on vaccines and the impact of misinformation, especially in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. Israetel strongly supports vaccines as one of humanity's greatest achievements, crediting them with saving millions of lives globally. He refutes the debunked myth linking vaccines to autism and explains that increased autism diagnoses are largely due to better awareness and diagnostic criteria. He also discusses the challenges of public trust and the politicization of health measures, advocating for balanced policies that respect individual freedoms while protecting public health. Israetel expresses cautious optimism about new leadership in health policy, but stresses the importance of evidence-based decision-making. Looking forward, Israetel is optimistic about emerging pharmaceutical treatments for obesity and related conditions. He highlights new weight loss drugs that reduce appetite, inflammation, and even addictive behaviors, describing them as health elixirs that can dramatically improve outcomes for many people. While acknowledging some side effects and trade-offs, he believes these medications represent a major breakthrough. However, he stresses that drugs alone are not a panacea. Personal responsibility, education, and lifestyle changes remain essential. Israetel encourages individuals to seek knowledge about nutrition and fitness, use technology and coaching resources, and commit to sustainable habits. He envisions a future where pharmaceuticals complement, rather than replace, healthy behaviors.